A big win for the Maple Leafs and Chris Johnston. It was earlier on Thursday. We spoke about something that Sheldon Keefe said to his team a few games ago when the Leafs were going up against the Habs. He mentioned that it could be a potential playoff preview and go out there and put some doubt in their mind. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but does a win like that put any doubt in the minds of the Montreal Canadiens, or is it something they just shrug off and move on?
I think in this case, where Montreal's playing the second half of a back-to-back and they're on a really tough stretch schedule-wise, they'll be able to move past this one. I think maybe if you're looking for doubt-placing opportunities, perhaps Saturday's game will be one when Montreal's had a chance to regroup and be in position for that game. But I think that's probably why when you look at this game, the Leafs didn't let off the gas in the first period, scoring those 4 goals. Even when you see them get into the third, they have their big boys out there on a late power play for a 5-on-3, and that's partially, yes, because the Leafs power play hasn't been too good. It was an opportunity to work on it, but I do think, they didn't want to show any mercy in that situation. And so, let's face it, these guys all know what's up. In 10 days' time, we could be talking about the start of a first-round playoff series. Very likely will be between Montreal and Toronto, so there's one more opportunity to send that message on Saturday.
40 goals for Auston Matthews. I think that says it all. But what did some of the Habs players, some of the Leafs players, and Matthews himself say about a pretty important night?
Well, I'm comfortable saying this is, the most impressive goal-scoring season in Toronto Maple Leafs history. If you look at it, it's 40 goals in 49 games. If Auston were to not score in his final 3 games the Leafs have remaining, it would still end up with the highest goals per game ever by a Leafs player. A special season. You could tell it really meant something to him. I think that's what's interesting. Obviously a lot of goal scorers don't want to talk about numbers and milestones. They don't want to jinx anything. But, Auston didn't shy away from the fact that this was a nice round number that, carried some significance for him. Sheldon Keefe gushed about it. And, even Jake Allen, who was in net for the Montreal side, just mentioned that scoring that often has put Auston on the highlights a lot, and it's put him right alongside Connor McDavid as the 2 best players in the league this season.
Now, speaking of goal scorers, Cole Caufield, he finally gets one in regulation, not quite as dramatic, but does he continue to show everyone that he's here and he's for real?
Yeah, and good on him. Look, it's 3 and 4 games for him now with the 2 overtime winners he scored, to start his NHL career. And you look back at what he did at Wisconsin, scored basically a goal a game, played a few games for the Laval Rocket, the American Hockey League, was scoring there. And, he's come up to the NHL and found a way to score. And, despite the fact he's not certainly the biggest player out there, doesn't necessarily, still going to find his way, I think, at the NHL level in terms of, controlling the puck and things like that. But you let him anywhere near the net, he's got that ability, and it's almost like a second sense for him, and full credit, because the Montreal Canadiens need scorers, and that's what's going to keep them, in my opinion, in their lineup in the playoffs. It's just the fact that he has that X factor around the goal.
Well, Chris, it was a big win for the Maple Leafs, a big night for Auston Matthews, and these 2 teams right back at it.